All right, I'm back on the road now. So I just pulled off the side of the road to take a break here and blow my nose. The cold is making my nose run like crazy. While I was here, I just thought I would take a moment to talk about my new bike, the Commotion Cycles Siskiyou touring bicycle. I've been getting a lot of questions about it because it's a brand new bike for me on this particular trip. And it's got some really fancy features. It's got S&S couplers, which allow you to split the frame in half so you can pack it on an airplane and fly the bike for free, essentially. It's got a pinion gearbox, a gate carbon belt, and a whole bunch of other cool things. Really high-end components. I will do a full review of the bike later. I don't like to jump into reviewing products like after a day or something like that. I know a lot of magazines and websites and stuff do bike reviews after like 5 minutes of riding it around a parking lot. I do not like to do that. I like to thoroughly test the products. The one thing I will say about this bike is that it's kind of flawless in a lot of ways. Like, I just haven't had any problems with it. So there's not a lot to say at this point. And I think that's a good thing, obviously. I don't know if you know this or not, but I have a degree in filmmaking. That was what I studied in university, so I have a degree in editing and sound for movies and stuff. And one of the things that they taught us in university is that if your movies are basically like, if the audience can watch your movies and not notice the editing or the sound design, then you've done a good job. You know, and if they're noticing that like the editing is weird or that sound doesn't seem right or something, then you've done something wrong. And that's kind of how I feel with this bike right now. It's like, there's nothing to report wrong with it, really. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I will do a full review very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I gotta get going. My battery is about to die on the camera, and I still have several kilometers I want to cover today. So yeah, I love the bike, and it's working great. All right, here we go. Yeah. So I just went inside this tourist office that you see behind me, and the guy in there, Lars, he said that I could charge my camera batteries in there, so I just dropped them off, let them charge for 2 hours, and I gotta be back before 4 o'clock, before they close, so I'll at least get one battery charged. Alright, I just found a pizza place. Well, that was a good little stop. I got some pizza, downloaded podcasts, and now I'm going back to pick up my batteries. Hey. Still going. It's called Commotion Cycles. They're made in America. It's like a handmade bicycle.
Just after your length of your leg.
Yeah, and they do like custom paint and everything. So I told them I wanted red, white, and black, and yeah. And have you seen this before?
It's a battery machine.
No, no battery. There's no battery. It's just all of the gears are in here.
Oh.
So there is no battery though. There's just nothing, no gears on the back. They're all up front.
And no traditional chain.
Right.
Just ribbon.
Yeah, exactly. It's a belt, like a carbon. Like,
oh man, yeah, I've seen pictures of that.
Yeah. It's super smooth.
Maybe this is the future.
I think so. All right, so that was a good pit stop there. Got some food, charged my batteries a little bit. I got 1.25 battery charge maybe. The guy at the tourist info center was really nice. Very interested in my bicycle, which is cool. And now I'm on the way. I want to do, it's already like 4:30 in the afternoon. I want to do at least like 2 more hours of cycling, so maybe 30 kilometers, and then I'll call it a day. I'm climbing a big old hill right now. You know, it's one of those hills where, like a lot of hills, you can just kind of roll over or slowly shift down as the hill gets steeper. This was this one where you had to like immediately switch down like 10 gears because it just, when it started going up so fast. Ah. So, as I was biking down the road just a moment ago, I passed a sign saying that this whole area here that I'm walking through in this forest used to be one of the largest, if not the largest, field hospital in all of Europe for World War II. Yeah, basically this was a hospital out here in the woods serving, there was an airport nearby which was Northern Europe's largest airport and during the war. And so anyways, this area operated as a hospital, and then in 1944, when the Germans retreated from the area, they essentially burned everything down, blew it up, and everything out here now is exactly as it was since that time, essentially. Rust has, you know, taken over the metal, and basically it's just the slabs of buildings and stuff. This area behind me used to be a bathhouse and a laundry facility, and up here are some homes, or at least the remains of the homes of the Red Cross doctors and a whole bunch of other things that were in the hospital. So I'm just kind of checking it out. It's pretty interesting. I love these places though where they don't try to necessarily fix it up. Like look at this is really cool. An old car. Like they just literally like left that here from 1944. That is cool, and there's another one over here. Alright. I think a lot of places in the world are kind of ruined in a way when they try to fix them up too much. Here's just another old car sort of thing. Like I went to Machu Picchu in Peru when I was there, and I felt like I was at Disneyland or something. It was really cool and very beautiful. Like they've fixed it up really nicely. They have manicured grass and all of that sort of thing. But it felt inauthentic to me compared to like a lot of other ruins that I saw in Peru as well. So like this I think is really interesting just because you're seeing it as it is, you know, unpolished. Whew, it's a little scary. I'm walking across a scary cable bridge. God, this thing moves. If you have balance problems, do not walk across this thing. So you can see here we got some old buckets. There's an old bed frame. I don't know, it looks like some parts of a stove or something like that. Just all over the place here. You gotta look closely, but yeah. I mean, just like, you know? So I'm standing now in the center of the remains of a large building that used to be used by the Red Cross during World War II, where they housed the soldiers that they were treating for various ailments and injuries. What you can see behind me is basically the remains of a row of beds. So this is like the exterior wall that you're seeing right here. And then right down here and on the other side of the building over there, kind of this direction, is basically a row of beds. And I'll point them out here but you can see here, 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 here. And they continue on this side of the building as well. Here, there's another one over there, some more in the back, etc. But on this side of the building also, so there's a whole row of beds going down there. And scattered in between here, I'm not exactly sure what everything is, but it looks like the remains of like a chimney or a stove of some kind. Right here at my feet, this is the remains of you can see it's like a bathtub, basically. A big, I don't know what this is, metal wash basin, essentially. And yeah, there's all kinds of stuff scattered around here. I'm not exactly sure what it all is. See, this looks like the front of a chimney or a stove door. Basically, you open that up and throw the fire in there or something, and then slam it shut. So all kinds of stuff like that scattered around here. Really, really interesting.
Can anyone stop the noise that's inside my head? A voice that keep telling me things, horrible things about you.
In this big hole that you see behind me, this was a barrack housing the kitchen and the administration for the hospital. And there's a whole bunch you can kind of see parts of the old stove and stuff in here. I don't know what else is down here, but a bunch of concrete and blown up stuff. But nearby here, there's kind of like a little hill where they believe there was a fortification where they had machine guns and stuff. And yeah, anyways, there it is. Well, that was a cool little surprise. I'm glad I stopped to check the place out. See, like, that's kind of what I like about bike touring a lot of times, is like these places you've never even heard of. And no one would ever tell you about this place, really. But it's kind of cool just because I stumbled across it, And I kind of enjoyed that, for example, more than I enjoyed going to the North Cape 2 days ago. Even though the North Cape is like the destination that everyone's trying to get to. In a way, I enjoy this sort of thing more.
Do you ever feel the same? That you too can hear a voice keep telling you things, horrible
this hill now.
about me.
I reached the top of the hill. Yay, party! Woo! It's almost 7 o'clock at night. I'm gonna start looking for a place to camp. I've gone just over like 60 kilometers, not very far. Yeah, 64 kilometers for the day. So not a big day, but a good day. I should have maybe stopped back there where all the trees were, because now I'm in this brown Lapland area where it's going to be very hard to find a place to camp and be secluded. Oh well.
If you know how to stop the noise that's inside our heads, please don't stop telling us things, horrible things about counting to 10 again and again.
Alright, another good day complete. Camp is set up. I cycled about 70 kilometers today, which is one of my shorter days on this particular bike tour. But it was a good day. I was able to get into town and I spent almost 4 hours in town charging my camera batteries, eating some food, and conversing with the locals. Because I spent some time charging my camera batteries today, I thought it would be a good time to show you the various electronics that I'm carrying with me on my bike tour, including the 2 cameras that I use to document my travels. So I should probably start by showing you the main camera that I use to document my trip, and it's this one here, which I have mounted on a tripod. It's the Canon G7X Mark II. It's a small kind of point and shoot sort of camera, but it's very powerful. It's not a big DSLR. I used to carry a big DSLR camera with me with different lenses, and I wanted something smaller, something that would be better for shooting video, and so I got this and I'm really enjoying it. This is my first bike tour with this particular camera. I'll do a full review or something later, but I really like it. So I'm using the G7X Mark II as my main kind of vlogging camera that I use to capture the video and take photos of my bike tour here in Sweden, Norway, and Finland. The tripod is essential as well because I'm out here by myself. Any shot that you see basically of me in it, it's with the camera on the tripod. This is the rest of the stuff that I am carrying with me. I'll point out some of the things. I've got a GoPro. I don't know what model this is exactly, but it's a GoPro, and I have it on the handlebar mount here. This is the new like bicycle handlebar mount, which, let me just show you, like, you press this button down on the side and you can very easily turn the camera in different directions, which is nice. Something that was not a part of their older handlebar mount. So anyways, I use that quite a bit. And also, like, when I'm just filming myself on my bike, I just hold it like this in my hand and film myself riding. So there's that. I have a universal power adapter thing, which allows me to plug in my American electronics into European outlets. It also has a USB charger on the side. That's what I really like about this one. So I use that quite a bit. I have, well, this is my other camera. This is my backup camera. This is the small point and shoot camera that I used to document my bike tour in Colombia and Ecuador recently. And this camera costs about $125 or so. Whereas the one I'm shooting this with right now cost me about $900. So there's quite a difference in the quality of these 2 cameras, but I really like the fact that the sound coming out of this camera, I think, is actually better than the one coming out of this camera. And it's because the microphone here is on the front, whereas this camera, the microphone is on the top of the camera. And so I don't think, like, when I'm shooting my videos of myself while I'm riding on my bike, the sound kind of comes, the wind kind of comes over the top of the camera and just makes the sound coming out of this camera really bad. Whereas this camera, because the microphone's on the front, the sound comes over the top of the camera and doesn't interfere so much with the sound. Anyways, so I've got 2 bike lights. These are both USB powered bike lights. This one's made by Blackburn, I think. Yep. And this one's made by Nog. This is my smartphone. It's just a Samsung. I don't know what it is exactly. It's something. It's Samsung Mini. That's what it is. And I have earphones. This is another European power adapter. So I can charge 2 things at once. That's the purpose for having this and this. Then I have 2 different camera battery chargers. This is the charger for this camera. This is the charger for this camera. And then I have 4 total batteries for my bigger Mark II camera. And I have 5 batteries for this smaller backup camera. Now, I am carrying a solar charger. This is the Voltaic 6-watt solar charger. And I have 2 batteries in here. One here that is charging and another backup as well. I also am carrying a USB cable. This is I have 2 cables actually. One is here and one's in my other bag, but 2 cables to charge Oh no, there's the cable right there. So this is the cable to charge my GoPro, and this is the cable to charge my smartphone and my bike lights. Different cables. This is a small backup battery, very similar to these batteries here. The only difference is these can only be powered or only be charged by the solar charger, and this one can only be charged by plugging it into a wall, like plugging it in here, for example. So I think that's pretty much it. Those are all the electronics I'm carrying. Like I said, I used to carry a large DSLR camera with various lenses, a wide angle lens and a 50mm lens and all that kind of stuff, and I was able to produce some really high quality stuff, I think. But I've been focusing so much on video recently that I found that these much smaller cameras, like the one I'm shooting on now, makes it just so much easier for me to do what it is I'm doing right now. You know, it focuses automatically on my face, whereas my old DSLR didn't really do that. I know other more modern DSLRs do, but it's just lighter, smaller, easier to travel with, easier to carry in my hand while I'm cycling on the bike. And so yeah, that's a quick overview of my gear. If you have any questions, like, let me know, leave a comment down below or something. I am going to cook my dinner now. I have pasta and like veggie sandwiches that I want to make. So I got to find some water though. I've only got one water bottle and I don't want to waste it on the pasta. So I'm going to find some water, do a little hike, find a creek nearby, get some water, boil it, use that to make the pasta, and then I'll keep the water I have now for drinking water. One last thing I wanted to say about my electronics. I use the solar charger only to charge my smartphone, my GoPro, and my bike lights. It is not set up to charge my camera batteries. And that is why I had to spend time in town today charging my camera batteries, because I need an actual electrical outlet in order to charge those batteries. The other thing about having the solar charger is, like, whenever I am stopped, like if I go into a supermarket or I'm here in camp, like I'm always trying to position this thing so it's pointed at the sun. So right now I have it kind of set this direction, but later today, later tonight, I might have to move it around my tent. But yeah, I'm always trying to charge this thing. The camera batteries, however, need to be plugged into the wall. I also forgot to mention that I'm carrying backup SD cards for both of my cameras. Yeah, just a bunch of data basically to store all my photos and videos on, because when you shoot video especially, you burn through a lot of these. So I've got 4 backups.